Hi, welcome to my video on subtracting rational expressions with different denominators, part 2. And part 2 is just more practice. Part 1 was same, so I'll just do more examples because it's very important to know how to subtract and add rational expressions. And what are the rules? Well, what I do first is when I subtract, I add on the opposite. So I'm going to add on negative b. And now the LCD, I got to have an A and a B, a factor of A and a factor of B. What factor is in this denominator does not here? C. So the LCD is ABC. AB is in the LCD, A and B. AC is in the LCD, AC. That means I got to multiply the first fraction by C to get the ABC, and I put C on in the numerator. And this fraction has to be multiplied by B to get the ABC, so I multiply the top by B. That gives us CX over ABC plus negative B squared over ABC. I elected to write down this denominator of ABC for each one. And that simplifies to CX minus B squared over ABC. And there's no GCF in the numerators, so that's the final answer, simplified. Number 2, we're subtracting fractions or rational expressions, so we're going to add on the opposite, add on negative x plus 2. Now we've got to look for the LCD in order to add fractions or subtract. Because I add on the opposite, I'm adding. I always add on the opposite. It makes it easier to do. The LCD for 3 and 5 is 15. So we multiply the first fraction by 3 over 3. Multiply the second one by 5 over 5. And the LCD is 15. 3 5s are 15. 3 times x plus 3 is 3x plus 9. Add on. 3 times 5 is 15. And 5 times negative x plus 2 is negative 5x plus 10. And the common denominator is 15. Write it down. Add 3x minus 5x is negative 2x. And 19 add on 10. Sorry, 9 add on 10 is 19. No GCF in this numerator, so that's fully simplified. Number 3, we're subtracting rational expressions, so we add on the opposites. So add on negative 2. The denominators are already factored, so the LCD is x plus 8 is one factor, and x plus 4 is another factor. So the first denominator is multiplied by x plus 4, top and bottom. And the second fraction is multiplied by x plus 8, top and bottom, to keep it balanced. Now, I'm going to write down this denominator, which is x plus 8 times x minus 4. And that's the denominator that I'm going to use for both of them. So notice x plus 4 times x plus 8 is the same as x plus 8 times x plus 4. And x plus 4 times x plus 8 is x plus 8, x plus 4. Now we multiplied 4 times x plus 4 is 4x plus 16. Negative 2 times x plus 8 is negative 2x minus 16. Common denominator is x plus 8, x plus 4. Write it down, and we add 4x, subtract 2x is 2x. 16, subtract 16 is 0, and we have a 2x all over x plus 8, x minus 4. And you can't cancel because there's no monomial factor in the bottom. Number 4, we're subtracting. What do we do? What do I do when I subtract? I add on the opposite, so I add on a negative 4x. In this case, I have to make sure the denominator is factored. Because if the denominator is not factored, it's going to be hard to find the LCD and just make it work easier. So difference of two squares is x and x. Factors of 16 is 4 and 4, with a plus and a minus. And 3 is the GCF. 3x divided by 3 is x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So now we're able to pick out the LCD. And the LCD is x plus 4. Got to have an x minus 4. And what's in this denominator that's not here? I have a 3. Notice this denominator, I could write this denominator down and then say, what's in this one that's not here? 3. That means I multiply the first fraction by 3 over 3. Multiply the second fraction by x minus 4 over x minus 4. Notice I have an x plus 4x minus 4, so I need a 3. I have a 3 and an x plus 4, I need an x minus 4, top and bottom. And that gives me the same denominator on both. So I'm going to write this denominator down, 3 times x plus 4, x minus 4, which is what this is. And multiply the numerators, 6x squared. When I multiply this, I get the same as this. So these two denominators are the same. When I multiply negative 4x by x minus 4, I get a negative 4x squared plus 16x. And the common denominator is 3 times x plus 4, x minus 4. Bracket there, and I add, so 6x squared subtract 4x squared is 2x squared plus 16x, and I can take out a 2x, that's a GCF. 2x squared divided by 2x is x. 16x divided by 2x is plus 8, and that's 3 times x plus 4, x minus 4. Notice x plus 4 is not a factor of the bottom. 2 or x is not a factor at the bottom, so your answer could have been left like that, or it could have been left like that. So I put an or here, so either or will do. And let's continue. Hopefully everything is going great. Remember, you can pause the video, write down this answer, write down the question, and then work it out. And when you get it done, press play to see if you worked it through okay. So we're subtracting fractions. I'm going to add on the opposites. I'm going to add on negative x squared plus x, and rub that out, and I put a minus 2 on the top so we won't get confused. And we have the opposite added on. Now I have to factor the denominator. So I could factor it right underneath here, but because I have lots of space, then I'll write down the numerator, I'll factor, and I'll get 3 is the GCF. 3x divided by 3 is x. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And I get a negative x plus x minus 2. And this GCF here is 4. 4x divided by 4 is x. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now I'm able to pick out the LCD. So I have a 3 and a 4. LCD for 3 and 4 is a 12, and I need an x plus 1. 3 and x plus 1 are right here with an extra 4. 4 and x plus 1 is in there with an extra 3. So that means I multiply this bracket by 4 over 4, and I multiply this fraction by 4 over 4, and I multiply this fraction by 3 over 3. That will give me the LCD. So 4 times 3 is 12x plus 1. So I multiply 4 by this trinomial, 4x squared minus 4x plus 4. Add on. When I multiply this, I'll get a 12x plus 1. 12 times x plus 1. Now the 3 is multiplied by this trinomial, so it's a negative 3x squared plus 3x minus 6. Again, adding on the opposite makes it much easier. The chances of making a mistake are less. And now we have the same denominator, which is 12 times x plus 1. And we add 4x squared, add on negative 3x squared is x squared. Negative 4x, add on 3x is negative x. And plus 4 subtract 6 is negative 2. And can this factor? So let's see if I can factor this over here, because if it's not, then I can leave it like that. So let's look at, this is the product, is negative 2, and the sum is negative 1. So the factors of 2 are 2 times 1. Because the product is negative 2, then I have to have a plus and a minus. But the sum is negative, so I need a negative 2 plus 1. Notice, multiply, negative 2, add negative 1. And so that means the factors are x minus 2 plus 1. Oh, so that factor is on the bottom. So I have, notice that's a 1, so I have an x and an x minus 2 plus 1. So if I did the FOIL on this, I would get this trinomial here. And 12 over x plus 1. And I said if I did the FOIL. Let's do the FOIL fast. Let's see. Watch. The first is x times x is x squared. The last is negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. The outside is 1. The inside is negative 2. 1 and a negative 2 is negative 1. Perfect. So the common factor is x plus 1 on top and bottom cancel. X minus 2 over 12. And we cannot cancel the 2 into 12 gets 6 because that's a subtraction. You can only cancel when you have multiplication factors. Let's continue. Again, pause the video and work each of these out. Here we go. We're subtracting, so we add on the opposite. Now our denominators looks like they're, well, this one here especially is factorable. So that's a 2 coming out. So 4x divided by 2 is 2x. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now the odds are, if this is going to simplify, this trinomial here might have this. So that's why I did the easier one first. I would say that this is going to have a 2x plus 1. But just to take a guess, just take a guess if it's going to simplify. It might not, but let's continue. Let's go and factor it anyway. And here we go. This is a 2, and the 2 is not a GCF, so I have to go the long way. That's by grouping in it. So 2 times 4, so the product is 2 times 4 is 8, and the sum is 9. So the factors of 8 are 8 and 1 and 2 and 4. So what factors of 8 give me a 9? It's 8 and 1. And since the product is positive and the sum is positive, that means the two factors are plus 8 plus 1. So the 2x and the plus 4, that's the beginning and end. And in the middle goes plus 8x plus 1x. These two factors are going in here because they add up to give you a 9. And the GCF is a 2x in the first two. So that's an x plus 4 and a whatever that sign is right there. That's what that sign is. So that's a plus 1 is a GCF. That's an x plus 4. And as it happens, x plus 4 is in both of them. So if I take x plus 4 out of this expression, I get a 2x. If I take x plus 4 out of this expression, I get a plus 1. So x plus 4, 2x plus 1. So if you did that, just notice, if I had this one factored first because it was easier, I had a 2x plus 1. So if I went over to a sheet of scrap paper and I wrote down 2x plus 1, watch how you can do it. If this is a common factor, take the 2x squared and divide it by 2x. That'll give you x. Take the 4 and divide it by 1 and you'll get a 4. It's because the first terms is going to give you 2x squared. The last is going to give you a 4. Then you check to see if you have the middle right. So x times 1 is 1x. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 and 1 is 9. So again, you're playing the hunch that this factor is a factor of this and you can do it quicker without going through all this. Again, if it is. Now, the LCD is, I have to have a 2, I have to have an x plus 4, and I have to have 2x minus 1. 2x plus 1, sorry. So I multiply this one by 2 over 2, and I multiply this one by x plus 4 over x plus 4 to get equivalent fractions with the same denominator. So the common denominator will be 2 times x plus 4 over 2x plus 1. And multiply the top. 2 times x squared minus 1 is 2x squared minus 2. Add on. And this denominator should keep it the same as this one. 2 times x plus 1 times 2x plus 1. Even though the order is different, multiplying the 3 of these together, or multiplying the 3 of these, this order makes no difference because it's all multiplication. So negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. Negative 2x times 4 is negative 8. The common denominator is 2 times x plus 4, 2x plus 1. And you add, that gives you 0. And that gives you, descending order is negative 8x minus 2. And I see a negative 2. I see a 2 as a GCF and a negative because I never have a leading term with a negative. So it's a negative 2 times 4x plus 1 all over 2 times. So I just wrote down that denominator. So I took the negative 2 out, and that's a 4x plus 1, not on the bottom, but the 2 is. So 2 into 2 goes once, 2 into that goes negative 1. So I have a negative of 4x plus 1 over x plus 4, 2x plus 1. And again, if you wanted to, you could have left, you could also change this to negative 1 times these two is a negative 4x minus 1 over this denominator. But notice you have to factor to see if it's okay. If you factor it, and it can cancel, do so. Number 7. Number 7, again, we're subtracting fractions, so I add on the opposite. So I add on negative x plus 5. That's the opposite. Now I make sure my denominators are factored. To pick up the LC, I see an x. So x squared divided by x is x. Negative 2x divided by x is negative 2. I see a 2 as a GCF. 2x divided by 2 is x. 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. And I got a negative x plus 5. And the LCD is, I got an x minus 2, and I have a 2. Notice the monomials are in the front all the time in front of the binomial. And that means I multiply this fraction by, I have an x and an x minus 2. I need a 2, top and bottom. I have a 2 and an x minus 2, so I need an x. When I multiply this denominator, 2 times x minus 2. Notice I didn't multiply, just left it in this form. 2 times x minus 5 is 2x minus 10. Multiply, I get 2x times x minus 2. Again, the multiplication here will be the same as this. So whatever I write here, keep them the same. Now I go x times negative x, and x times 5. And now I add up common denominator is 2x times x minus 2. I'm going to add these. I look around and I see I have an x squared first, so it's a negative x squared. 2x, add on 5x is 7x, and negative 10. So I keep coming down. I wonder, can this factor? So over on the side, I'm going to go over here, pretend I'm on a sheet of scrap paper now. So I'm going to go negative x squared. So this is, I'm working on the sheet of scrap paper. I'm going to take the negative out. So negative coming out makes that a plus, makes that a minus, makes that a plus. And because the negative came out, then this is a 1, so this might be factorable into two binomials. So x squared is x and x. Factors of 10 are 1 and 10, 2 and 5. What's the factors of 10 that give you 7? It's 2 and 5. The product is positive and the sum is negative, so it's got to be 2 negatives. And so, guess, x minus 2 is a common factor. So that's a negative outside of x minus 2, x minus 5. 2x outside of x minus 2. So that's the common factor canceled out, so I get the negative of x minus 5 and 2x. Again, you could multiply that if you want, make that a negative x plus 5 all over. You could have that. So either one of these would do. So notice, I took this factoring, I put it on a sheet of scrap paper, I worked it out. If this, I look at this, if these factors here are not one of these, then I leave it into this form. I don't have to factor it because nothing will cancel. Okay, let's continue. Hopefully you're catching on to subtracting, adding on the opposite, and picking up your LCDs and working it through. Extremely important. Extremely important. Now, number 8. Practice means, again, all of this is pause the video and work out the answer to see if you're right. And if you do, perfect. Now, we have a subtraction and addition. So it's only with subtraction I add on the opposite. So I'm going to add on negative 3x, scratch that out and put a minus 19. So I scratch it out, and there's the minus 19, I can see it. So now I have an additions. Addition, addition, perfect. So I factor. I can't factor this denominator. Already done. What I do with this, I look at these two. Sometimes you see this one and this one. Notice that's an x plus 3x minus 1. So if you take these two, multiply these two, x times x, x squared. Negative 3 times 1, negative 3. Outside is 1, inside is 3, gives me 2. So I can see that x minus 3 and x plus 1 are the factorizations of x squared minus 2x minus 3. Because, again, in math, things are not going to be overly complicated all the time. So these two are the factorization of this. And if you didn't see that, that's what I do. I look to see that these two are factors of this. You can go and work them out. You know, x squared with a 1 is x and x. Factors of 3 are 3 and 1. And the product is negative, so you got a plus and a minus. So the sum is negative 2, so it got to be negative 3 plus 1. Again, these two. That leads us with the LCD is x minus 3 times x plus 1. So we multiply this one by x plus 1, top and bottom. We multiply this one by x minus 3, top and bottom. We do not touch this one because it's already an LCD. So here we go. The denominator, if you want, you can write down this one each time. X minus 3 times x plus 1. multiply negative x squared minus x. And there's my denominator. That denominator is the same as that one, which is that one. And I don't have to touch this one. This is already the LCD. And this one is an x minus 3x plus 1. Even though the order here is x plus 1, x minus 3, keep it like this because all three of them are then the same. Now I got to do a FOIL on this. So x times x, x squared, negative 3 times negative 3 plus 9. Outside is negative 3, inside is negative 3, so it's negative 6x. Now, common denominator is x minus 3x plus 1. And now I have to add. So, as I add them, now you can put all them right here in descending order if you want. You can take, start with the x squared, but if you're okay with it, that's a plus and that's a minus, that cancels out. I got negative 1, negative 3, and negative 6. That's a negative 10. And I got a negative 19 and a 9 is the negative 10. Negative 19, add on 9, negative 10. And I see a GCF of, I see a negative, so I'm going to take it out, and I see a 10. So when I take out my negative 10, negative 10x divided by negative 10 is x. Negative 10 divided by negative 10 is plus 1. I write down my denominator. So that's, and when you have it negative 10 taken out, notice that these two are the same, so they cancel. So the answer is a negative 10 all over x minus 3. Fully simplified. Perfect job. Again, add on the opposite. Change your subtraction to an addition. So here we go, the last one. Hopefully everything is going through and you're understanding. Notice I show every step. And sometimes when you do it for the teacher too, or your homework or test, showing the steps and giving yourself plenty of space, you can find where the error is. And you can find, like if I make a mistake, I look back on my pattern to see where my mistake is. And if I can't find it, then or my student can't find it, he comes to me and says, sir, I can't find my mistake. And we go down through and then all of a sudden say, oh yeah, there it is. And it could be a very simple error. Okay, we're subtracting fractions, so I'm adding on the opposite. So I'm subtracting, so I'm going to add on a negative 2. Don't change that because it's already a plus. Now I have to factor. It looks like I can factor, so let's see, x minus 4. I see an x GCF, but 2 is the smallest exponent. X cubed divided by x squared is x. 2x squared divided by x squared is plus 1. I see a 4 as a GCF, so 4x divided by 4 is x. 8 divided by 4 is 2. I see x as a GCF. X squared divided by x is x. 2x divided by x is plus 2. And so the LCD, I see an x and a 4. I see a 4, right? I see an x. I see an x plus 1 and an x plus 2. Oh, and I said, no, I just happened to glimpse here. And I said, that's an x plus 1, x plus, okay. And then I said, well, is this one the same as this? So I divided x squared by here, and oh, there's a 2. That would have thrown me right off. That means there's again, this is a 4x times x plus 2. I got to have an x, I got to have the x squared. Got to have a 4. So there's the x squared. I got an x here and an x here, but I take the highest exponent because I got to have. And how do I check? Is x squared in this LCD? Yes. Is x plus 2? Yes. Is 4 in here? Yes. Is x plus 2? Yes. Is x Here, yes, x plus 2. So each of these denominators are in this LCD. Here we go. What do I multiply this one by? I multiply this one by a 4. I have a 4 and an x plus 2. I need to multiply it by x squared. And this one, I have an x and an x plus 2. I need to multiply it by 4x. Check. 4 times x, right, 4x squared, perfect. 4 times x squared, perfect. X times 4x is 4x squared, perfect. And the LCD is, so 4 times x minus 16. LCD is 4x squared, x plus 2. Multiply, I get a negative 2x squared. LCD is 4x squared times x plus 2. And I get 4x times x is 4x squared. Negative 2 times 4x is negative 8x. And my LCD is the same, so I'll write that down. I'll add my squares first. So this one and this one gives me a 2x squared. Then I add my x's. 4x and 8 is negative 4x. 4x and subtract 8x is negative 4x. And I have a negative 16. So the 4x and the negative 8x is here. The x squared, 2 of them are here, and the 16. Now, can this factor? Well, over on the side, sheet of scrap paper. Because what you're going to get credit for is that can you factor this correctly? So here we go. I'll just write it down. I see a 2 as a GCF, so that's an x squared minus 2x minus 8. And the factors of 8 are 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. Factors of 8 to give me a 2 are 2 and 4. So it looks like x squared is x and x. Factors of 8 are 4 and 2. And it's a negative, so it's a negative 4 plus 2. So that's the complete factorization. And you notice that there's a 2 GCF, so the 2 is going to cancel with the 4. So I got a 2 times x minus 4x plus 2. Write down the denominator, which I did. Now, what can cancel? 2 and the 2 goes once, 2 and the 4 goes 2. X plus 1 cancels. And let's see what we have. Let's go right across here. 1, x minus 4 times 1. And I have 2x squared. And the x's can't cancel, the 2's can't cancel because I cannot cancel x minus 4 unless it's a factor down below. So that's the final answer. Ended off with a good little problem to do the review, a little bit of work, but the idea that I do, or when you manipulate, you stick with your pattern that you learn and you flow with that pattern, then you're consistent. So hopefully, if you like my video, click the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, videos, and my content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.